Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at the LED blinkers that we started with last week. This is the second part of the video. We're going to be programming ATtiny, a microcontroller for the LED blinker circuit or project that we worked on last week. At this time around, there's going to be a little bit of twist. We're going to add a button, one button that can trigger different functions. So under certain conditions, the microcontroller will perform different function. Today we're just going to concentrate on LED blinkers. You will see the difference between an ATtiny and using the 555 timer. The 555 timer is based on hardwired system, but the ATtiny is going to use software programming, and this is interesting. And with a push of a button, you can have different functions or subroutines performed by the microcontroller. Very interesting project. You can pause at any time to watch and follow the steps. Alright, thank you so much for coming, and please remember to like this video, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, thank you. Keep watching. So here's the circuit diagram for the ATtiny Programmer. The components are very basic. IC socket, couple of wires, a capacitor, and some connector pins, and of course you need a board. So here we've soldered it up on the left hand side, and on the right hand side you can see the circuit diagram still. All you need to do is plug in the right ATtiny to the socket and you're ready to go. Observe the pins as you plug them in. Make sure the pins go to the corresponding sockets on your Arduino board. If you make any mistakes, simply unplug and reposition and plug it back again. Now just plug your USB and you're ready to program. The circuit we want to design, or the program we want to run today, is a multi-button function switch, a multi-button function program that would perform different functions when the button is pushed. We're using the pin 3 for our buttons, and we have LEDs on 3 of the IO pins. We're using IO pins 0, 1, and 2 for our outputs, and we're using the pin 3 as the button switch. Alright, we have some functions written here. You can pause this video to observe the codes. Basically, we're counting from 0 to 5. Between 0 and 2, a particular function will be performed. At 3, a different function. At 4, another function. And when it's greater than 4, the count resets to 0, and then the function continues again. Here are the pinouts of the ATtiny. Please pause this video to observe the pins. So we're using 5, 6, and 7 as our outputs. We're using pin 2 as the switch. Okay, and here you can see as we want to program to the ATtiny, we need to set up our Arduino Uno as an ISP. So go to the example, select Arduino ISP, make sure you select your board as Arduino Uno. If you're using a different board, select the appropriate board, and then we just upload this Arduino ISP program to the Arduino board. Now I think we need to unplug the ATtiny Programmer, so we have to unplug it, and then we upload the code again. And so it's going to compile the code and then upload the code. Ensure you have the right port as well. Alright, so we know we have the right port, we have the right board selected. We just press upload, and it is done. Now the Arduino Uno board is now a programmer. Okay, if you haven't uploaded the bootloader, if you haven't bounced the bootloader, please you need to burn that before you start. Now the next thing is to upload our code, our main code today. So we're going to use ATtiny13. There's the microcontroller we're using today. So we're going to plug it back to the Arduino Uno board, and then we're going to click on Sketch, select Upload using Programmer. Once you do that, give it a couple of seconds and the upload will be done. You can see we're using 72% of the 1 kilobyte. Now that the upload is done, we can unplug it from the Arduino board. First of all, we'll remove the USB, unplug the ATtiny, and then we'll go and plug it in on a breadboard. We've already set up this breadboard with a switch, a tricolor LED, a resistor, limiting resistor, and then once we plug in power, this will start running the code. Right, again, anything from 0 to 2, you get this green light blinking. When we advance the button to count number 3, you're gonna get a different color. And then count number 4, another color, and then it goes back to the beginning. And the code runs indefinitely. Now there's just a sample code, right? You can put any function you want here, and it doesn't have to be ordinary switch. You can have temperature sensor, you can have maybe a read switch, you can have pressure sensor, you can have proximity sensor. You can have different sensors connected here, so when those conditions are met, certain functions are performed. It doesn't have to be LED, also it could be other functions. Last week on 555 timer, we built an alarm, so you can have an alarm when certain functions are met. The alarm goes off. Maybe use a proximity sensor. We're gonna do this later with all kinds of sensors, different videos based on sensors, so you can see when some conditions are met, what happens. And you can do all this just with the ATtiny. You don't have to use the full-fledged Arduino for some projects. If you build low memory projects, or projects that require just under 1 kilobyte, then you can use an ATtiny13. If they require more than that, you probably want to consider ATtiny85. It has more memories, more RAM for programming, right? So when we're done with the other 2 videos for next week and the week after that, we're gonna go back to some other videos around ATtinys and microcontrollers, and we're gonna look at sensors, and those will include light sensors, proximity sensors, and other sensors that will come across. We're gonna look at those, and if you have any requests or any area you want us to go into, just put it in the comments and we'll be able to schedule that in as time permits. So next week we're going to be looking at electronics components, basic electronic components, and trying to look at how to draw a good circuit diagram, just like we promised last week. And then after that, I think we have another thing planned for the week after that, or we can alternate them, but between these next 2 weeks we have other things planned. After that, we're going to go back into microcontrollers. Alright, so again on the screen you can see the code that we're running today. And on the right hand side you can see ATtiny. Here it says ATtiny25, 45, and 85, but we're using ATtiny13 today. So you can use any of these with the same wiring. The difference will be the memory. Alright, again, I want to thank you for supporting us and for subscribing. Please keep watching, come back and watch some more. Click on the other videos that you haven't watched before, or you can watch them again. Tell your friends about this, let them subscribe to this channel. Alright, I want to thank you so much and I appreciate you. Okay, and I'll see you in the next one.